Before I tell you what we saw on Black Hollow Creek, ask yourself something. What if the camp you're staying at tonight was once the burial site of something not quite dead? What if the flickering lanterns lighting your way were never meant to be lit again? Welcome to Nightmare and Fear, the place where true horror finds you first. If you're brave enough to make it to the end of this story, hit that subscribe button and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Because after this tale, you may never want to go near a forest again. Let me take you to a place I'll never return to. The cursed grounds of Black Hollow Creek. I don't talk about this often. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to. My name is Carter. 2 summers ago, I went on a camping trip with 4 of my closest friends, Lena, Josh, Marcus, and Willow. We were the kind of group that thrived on isolation. No phones, no GPS, just paper maps and pure wilderness. Willow had found this place on a crinkled, coffee-stained hikers forum, Black Hollow Creek campground, allegedly abandoned, unlisted on modern maps. Untouched beauty, the forum had said. A hidden gem. It was untouched for a reason. Day 1, arrival. The first red flag? No sounds. No birds. No insects. Just the constant murmur of a shallow creek and an unnatural stillness. As we pitched our tents, I noticed something strange about the lantern posts scattered around the perimeter. They looked old, really old. Iron wrought, rusted, and each engraved with symbols I didn't recognize. We laughed it off, calling it medieval chic. But I kept staring at the base of one closest to us. Scratched into the metal, under layers of dirt, were the words, "Do not relight the drowned flame." That night, after dinner, Marcus, who never passed up a scare opportunity, lit one of the lanterns with a match and joked, "Let's wake up the ghost of campers past." Lena groaned. Willow rolled her eyes. Josh smirked. But I felt something shift. The air got heavier. The creek sounded closer. Night 1, whispers. Around 2:30 a.m., I woke up to what sounded like distant chanting. Low, garbled voices. It wasn't English. And it wasn't coming from the forest, it was coming from the lanterns. I stepped out of my tent, heart pounding. The lanterns were glowing, but not from fire. A dull green hue was leaking out of the glass, like mist trapped inside. I blinked. And then, there were figures. Tall, thin, like shadows with bones, watching us from just beyond the firelight. No eyes. Just the glimmer of something wet and ancient on their skin. Then I heard my name. Carter. Whispered right into my left ear, though no one was near me. Day 2, the disappearance. The next morning, Marcus was gone. His tent was torn open, not from the zipper, from inside out. His shoes were there. His pack was there. But no Marcus. We searched for 5 hours, calling his name, leaving markers, even crossing the creek. But the deeper we went, the thicker the air felt, like the forest was pressing in on us. Then we found his flashlight. It was wedged in the bark of a tree, 20 feet off the ground. Still flickering. Still warm. When we got back to camp, the lanterns were relit. Every single one. No one had touched them. The journal. That night, Lena found something buried under her tent. A small leather-bound journal, damp but still legible. The entries were dated 1923. Written by a man named Elias Wren, a park ranger who had once manned Black Hollow Creek. His final entry was frantic, smeared with ash. The lanterns are not to be lit. They are tombs for the drowned ones. When lit, the creek listens. When relit, the drowned rise. I've buried the key beneath the oldest one. God forgive me. I see their eyes when I sleep. The page ended there, torn violently. We didn't sleep that night. We didn't talk. We just sat together, watching the woods, waiting. The drowned ones. Sometime after 3 a.m., the fog rolled in. And with it came them. They weren't human. They moved like smoke, but with the sound of water dripping on metal. Their eyes sunk, mouths gaping wide as if screaming underwater. And that sound, like chanting and gargling, echoed between the trees. We ran. God, we ran. Willow slipped in the creek. We reached for her, but something dragged her under. She never came up. I don't remember getting back to the car. I don't remember the drive. But I remember the way the woods watched us leave. Josh never speaks anymore. He stares at lanterns like they're whispering to him. Lena moved across the country. As for me, I see fog in my room some nights. I hear the creek. And when I do, the lantern by my window lights by itself. If you ever find yourself in a forest where no birds sing, where lanterns still stand though no one lives there, do not light them. This has been Nightmare and Fear. If you made it this far, you're one of the brave ones. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers by hitting that button before something else hits you first. What if the campsite you picked was never meant to be found? What if it only appeared for those who were already marked? What if you were being led there, not by chance, but by something waiting beneath the dirt? Welcome to Nightmare and Fear, where true horror is more than just a story, it's a warning. If you love terrifying tales that crawl under your skin and won't let go, then subscribe now and help us reach our next goal of 1,000 brave souls. Just don't listen to this one alone. This is the story of the camp that didn't exist yesterday. I wasn't supposed to be on that trip. My buddy Ray had planned it with his brother and 2 friends. Someone dropped out at the last minute, so they asked me to fill the spot. We were heading to a campground called Split Pine Reserve, except when I looked it up, there was nothing online. No reviews, no address. Ray said, "It's one of those secret spots only the locals know." I should have taken that as a sign. We left early morning. I remember passing through towns that felt abandoned, almost too quiet. The deeper we drove into the woods, the more it felt like the trees were pressing inward. And then, just when we were about to turn back, the dirt road ended. At a fully set-up campsite. Tents already standing. A circle of logs around a fire pit. Wood stacked neatly. No cars. No footprints. No signs anyone had ever been there. Ray thought someone left in a hurry. I thought we should leave. But no one listened to me. That night, after we ate, we sat around the fire telling stories. It was normal at first, urban legends, cryptids, your usual campfire stuff. Then someone, I swear I don't know who, started laughing. It wasn't Ray. It wasn't his brother. It wasn't me. It wasn't any of us. We all stopped talking at once. The laughter continued, soft, raspy, echoing like it was inside a cave, but it was coming from the tree lean. We grabbed flashlights and shouted into the dark. Nothing. Until the fire suddenly died, snuffed out, like someone had stepped on it. Except no one was near it. The next morning, we tried to relight the fire, but the stones around it had changed. Ray pointed at one and said, "That wasn't here last night." It had a symbol carved into it, a circle with a vertical line and a slit across the middle. Looked like an eye. We brushed off the soot and found more symbols, one on each rock. We joked maybe it was some weird hiker ritual or an old native site. But then we noticed something worse. There were fresh claw marks on one of the logs we sat on. Deep gouges, 4 of them. Each one long and wet. That night, no one wanted to light the fire. But we did. And when the flames got strong, we started seeing faces. Not clearly, not full-on heads, but mouths, eyes, half-formed grins in the smoke. They didn't move with the wind. They were staring at us. And then came the voices. At first, they mimicked us. I heard my own voice say, "I think something's wrong with this place." Then Ray's voice said, "We should leave." But Ray hadn't said a word. He was white as a sheet. That night, I didn't sleep. I heard something moving through the trees, dragging something heavy. Then, scratching. Not on the tents, underneath them. I didn't dare open mine. I didn't dare move. We finally decided to leave. We packed fast and started heading back down the dirt trail we came in on. But an hour later, we were back at the camp. Same logs. Same fire pit. Same symbols. Ray screamed. I've never seen a grown man cry like that. We all panicked. We tried using compasses, phones, the sun, nothing worked. The world outside the camp folded in on itself. We were trapped. That night, Ray's brother didn't come out of his tent. We unzipped it and found it empty. No blood. No sign of a struggle. But in the dirt where he slept was a perfect outline of his body, carved an inch deep into the earth. Like something had traced around him and pulled him straight down. There were no screams. No struggle. Just silence. We found a new tent the next morning. Black canvas. No zipper. It hadn't been there before. No one went near it. On what we think was the 5th day, we lost count, Ray walked into the woods without saying a word. He didn't take his bag. Didn't take water. He whispered something before disappearing. It wants one more. That night, it rained. And in the mud, I saw footprints circling my tent, not boots, not shoes. Bare. Clawed. Webbed. I couldn't breathe. I passed out from fear. And when I woke up, it was morning. The camp was gone. Everything. No fire pit. No tents. No trees. Just me, standing in the middle of a gravel parking lot by the highway. A sign said, Split Pine Reserve, closed since 1974. No one believes me. The police said it was a mental breakdown. But sometimes, I still hear that laugh when I close my eyes. And last night, a black canvas tent appeared on my front lawn. I didn't open it. But I think someone inside whispered my name. If you're still listening, you're one of the few who made it out. Subscribe to Nightmare and Fear now and help us reach 1,000 survivors before the next story finds you. Sleep tight. If you still can. They say the forest changes at night. But what if the forest wasn't changing? What if you were? What if your memories start to unravel and the friends you came with begin to forget who you are? Tonight's story isn't about a haunted creature or an ancient curse. It's about something much worse, something subtle that makes you question everything until it's too late. Welcome to Nightmare and Fear, where darkness doesn't wait until nightfall. If you're new here, we tell terrifying original horror stories you won't find anywhere else. So make sure to subscribe now and help us reach our next milestone of 1,000 fearless listeners. Because tonight's story? It isn't just scary. It's personal. This is The Forest That Forgot Us. Original, first-person, immersive horror story. I remember packing for the trip. I remember the drive. I remember the last gas station before we lost service. I even remember the name of the campsite. Crescent Vale Wilderness Preserve. But when I try to find it on a map now, nothing comes up. No records. No reviews. No photographs. It's like the place never existed. But it did. Because I went there. And I left, alone. Day 1, arrival. There were 5 of us, me, Eli, my girlfriend Mia, her best friend Sarah, and 2 guys from my job, Thomas and Jay. We weren't super close, but we all needed a break. The kind of weekend where you disconnect, drink too much, and sit under stars you can't see from the city. Crescent Vale wasn't on any major camping apps. Jay said he found it through an old PDF trail guide. That should have been the first red flag. We drove 5 hours, then hiked another 3 miles to reach the campsite. But when we got there, it was already set up. Tents. Fire pit. A stack of firewood, dry, perfectly cut, like someone knew we were coming. No one questioned it. No one thought it was weird. Except me. Fire Night 1, the silence test. Mia told a scary story about a camper who woke up with no face. Thomas tried to roast a hot dog and caught his hoodie on fire. We laughed. But later that night, when the others were asleep, I noticed something strange. I couldn't hear anything. No owls. No bugs. Not even wind. I whispered, "Hello?" just to hear a sound. And then, I heard my own voice whisper it back. From behind me. Only it wasn't a recording. It sounded confused. Like it didn't know who it was supposed to be. The next morning, we tried a hike. A simple loop trail that circled a pond. Marked clearly on Jay's map. We walked for an hour and ended up right back at the camp. Not the start of the trail. Not even a different part of the forest. The exact same fire pit. I asked the others if they noticed. Mia said, "What are you talking about? We didn't hike today." I stared at her. Jay backed her up. So did Thomas. But I had photos on my phone, blurry, but clearly taken during the walk. When I showed them, they weren't there anymore. Just blank black squares. All of them. That night, we played a stupid campfire game. Who remembers the moment they met everyone else? When it got to Sarah's turn, she laughed and said, "I don't remember meeting Eli." Jay shrugged. "I don't either, actually." Thomas said, "Wait, who invited you?" I thought they were messing with me. Until Mia looked at me. Blank, cold. And whispered, "You weren't supposed to come." While they slept, I walked to the edge of the clearing. Just needed to be alone. I saw something buried under dry leaves. A notebook. I opened it. The handwriting was mine. Day 3. Mia no longer recognizes me. I don't think they know I'm here. I'm afraid if I fall asleep, I'll forget myself too. The forest wants us erased, not killed. Forgotten. The last page had just 3 words. Leave. Before. Dusk. I looked at the sky. It was already turning red. When I got back to camp, there were only 2 tents. One had Mia's name written on it in charcoal. The other had Thomas's. No Jay. No Sarah. No extra tent. I asked them where the others were. Mia said, "Who?" Thomas laughed. "We came up here just the 3 of us. You, me, and her." I didn't sleep. I sat by the dying fire, trying to remember my own last name. I couldn't. No birds. No clouds. The sun didn't rise. The sky just brightened. I zipped open my tent and found myself standing back at the gas station. Phone in hand. Backpack on. Car keys in my pocket. No sign I had ever left. No text messages. No missed calls. Except one email. From an address I didn't recognize. Subject line: "Don't go back. They'll remember you next time." I don't know if Crescent Vale was real. I don't know if I still am. But sometimes, when I pass by the woods near my apartment, I swear, I see a tent. Already set up. Waiting. If you're still here, you're one of the few the forest didn't forget. Subscribe to Nightmare and Fear and help us reach 1,000 brave souls before the next story comes looking for you. Just don't follow trail maps you didn't print yourself.